Life Audio.
Welcome to the T-Must podcast, where we share how grace, commitment, and cooperation can help couples live the everyday moments of marriage together. Hey everyone, we are Ted
and Ashley Slater. How do you and your spouse give and receive love? In today's episode, we talk about the 5 love languages. We'll unpack each one and give you practical ideas on how to express them. So, Ted, a couple weeks ago, we recommended 5 books to enrich marriage.
I recall.
Yeah. And one of those was Dr. Gary Chapman's The 5 Love Languages.
Excellent book. Yeah. I recommend it as well, even though we just recommended it as a couple.
I know. Well, it's been around for like 30 years, I think. Well, today we're going to unpack those 5 love languages and share some practical ways that we can speak them, like speak the appropriate language to our spouse.
This is going to be super helpful, super practical.
Right. Okay, but first, I want to take a moment for those of you who are listening to invite you to sign up for my weekly email newsletter. You'll hear about the latest podcast episodes. You'll get links to related episodes from the past and an encouraging article for that week. You can sign up at ashleyslater.com. And when you do, you'll get a free ebook called The 5 Simple Marriage Tools You Should Know. So there'll be a link to sign up for that on my website. And if you can't tell, I am not good at promos. I hate plugging things.
Okay, so if somebody starts receiving this newsletter and they're like, I don't want to get this anymore. Is it like a pain to unsubscribe?
No, they can unsubscribe. I might be a little sad, but that's okay.
Okay, so it's easy to unsubscribe?
Yes.
Easy to subscribe?
Yep.
Poof.
And you get a free resource.
Free.
So, okay, now that we've done that, what is a love language?
A love language. Is it like French? French or Espanol?
That is the language of
Te amo, mi amor. Con todo mi corazón.
I don't know what you said, but it sounds good.
Thank you. That's a love language. It's called Spanish.
So essentially in this context, when we're talking about the 5 love languages, it's
French,
this idea that...
Italian.
Yeah,
Sorry, go ahead.
It's this idea that different people with different personalities give and receive love in different ways.
It makes sense.
Right. So when we learn to recognize these preferences in ourselves and our spouse, we can, as Dr. Chapman explains, learn to identify the root of our conflicts, connect more profoundly, and begin to grow closer.
And who would not want that?
Right.
Everyone.
Yeah. So they're marriage strengthening. They make your marriage better when you learn to speak them well.
Absolutely.
Okay, so there are 5 primary love languages.
Hence the title.
Right. And some of you listening are probably already familiar with this, but some of you may not be. So they are 1, words of affirmation.
Nice.
2, quality time. 3, receiving gifts. 4, acts of service. And 5, physical touch.
And if you notice, it's a nice acronym. REP.
Yes.
Just in case you need
Easy to remember.
That.
Right. Okay. Well, we're going to take a short break. And when we return, we'll unpack each of these and talk about practical ways you can speak them.
At Thrivent, planning your finances is bigger than money. It's a way to support the people, causes, and community you love. Because helping you put your faith into action is at the heart of what we do. Thrivent, where money means more. Connect with us at Thrivent.com.
So today we're unpacking the 5 love languages. Before we start, if you aren't sure what your love language is or your spouse's love language is, you can go take a free 5 love languages quiz, and I'll include a link to that in the show notes.
And you'll do that at the official 5 love languages site.
Yes, exactly. Don't go to one of those other ones. Just go straight to the source.
Ones, to the source.
Right. Okay. So let's unpack the 5 love languages.
I like the one you're going to start with.
Yes, it's actually your top love language.
It is.
And that is words of affirmation.
Oh, thank you.
I didn't say anything nice yet. Okay, so if your spouse's love language is words of affirmation, like Ted's is, Dr. Chapman says that your unsolicited compliments and encouragement mean the world to them. Another article I read had this to say: if your partner's love language is words of affirmation, they crave spoken or written compliments, encouragement, and affection. Criticism, negative comments, accusations, and unkind words can deeply wound them.
Ouch.
Think before you speak. So, okay, since this is yours, why don't you offer some suggestions
Okay, well, I'll just talk on the topic. I like probably many of you feel built up when somebody says, "Hey, attaboy, good job. I noticed that you did such and such and really appreciate it." They're just words, but they're building you up and affirming, what you're doing, what you've said, who you are. And I don't know why, but I feel like I can go another day,
Right. Well, okay. And so one practical way that we practice words of affirmation is I leave sticky notes on your computer. I'm actually trying to find the sticky notes because I was going to leave you another one yesterday and I couldn't find them. Like I'll write something encouraging on them, like maybe I love you or you got this, and hang it on your computer monitor. Sometimes I write something silly too. I think there's one on there. Oh, when the ankle biters bite back. That was actually the suggestion. I think it's a suggestion of one of our daughters on a date when you had a lot of little projects biting your ankles.
And then I'm seeing she's got a couple of them attached to my monitors. One says, "Go get 'em, Tiger." One says, "You got this, you rock." And one says, "I think you freaky and I like you a lot." Don't look up that song.
Yeah, no, that's kind of just a joke there.
It's a joke.
Okay, so other things that listeners could do, those of you listening could do if your spouse's primary love language is words of affirmation. Mm-hmm. So you could send an encouraging text during the day, or when you're listening to them talk about their day, look for places where you can praise them. Like if they're telling you about a project they did well, or, something along those lines. I also think verbally expressing gratitude when they do something, whether it's taking out the trash, loading the dishwasher, or like Ted makes the bed every day. Mm-hmm. I don't remember to thank you every day.
But you do thank me.
I do. Yeah.
So, and you don't have to, but the words make me feel good. So there you go. There's a thing. Yeah, just yesterday you were driving the girls up to a thing, and then I think sometime after you arrived, you sent me a little text just with a smiley face. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't take much.
Right. It's kind of that, "I'm thinking of you." Or it's a little blowing a kiss face, I think. Yeah. I don't know what that one's called.
It's a kissy blowy.
Yeah, one of those. Okay, so we're ready for number 2?
Yeah.
Okay, quality time.
Mm-hmm.
So Dr. Chapman says that if your spouse's love language is quality time, then nothing says I love you. Mm-hmm. I can't even say I love you, apparently. Like your full, undivided attention. And I would say this is my primary love language.
Quality time. And both words are important. Not only the time part, but the quality part. So
yes.
Why don't you explain?
Well, another article over at verywell.com summed this one up well. The author explains that this...
They sum it up very well. Yeah. Sorry. That was weird.
Yes. The author explains that this undivided attention means putting down the cell phone, turning off the computer, making eye contact, thoughtfully interacting, and actively listening.
Yeah, for me, I work a lot,
yes,
and so I'm staring at the computer. And in order to fully engage you and be fully present, I do need to either shut the screen or walk away or step away or physically turn my chair or something, because otherwise I'm not giving you my full attention. I can't.
Yeah. Well, and you can't always give me your full attention when I want it.
Right. I'm in the middle of a coding thing.
Yeah, you do have to work. But
I'm a code monkey, by the way, in case you're wondering.
I was going to start making monkey noises. I don't know why. But anyway, this has gotten weird today, hasn't it?
Weird. It's
okay,
fun
so
now.
They mentioned active listening. And just in case you're listening and you're not exactly sure what active listening is, experts say that there are 3 R's of active listening. Mm-hmm. And they are repeat, reflect, and respond.
And that's also an acronym you can remember. It's
That one's a little easier to remember than the last one. So repeat means just that. You repeat back what you heard to show that you understand. You can paraphrase, summarize, or just note the main takeaway.
So what you're saying is the repeat part is repeating back what you heard just to confirm that you understand it.
Exactly.
Okay.
Very well done there. Reflect means to go beyond what we've heard and think about and acknowledge the feelings that may be behind the words. One article on active listening, which I'll link to in the show notes, explains, we can maintain the conversation by reflecting on what we've heard, offering some basic insights into the other person's experiences. A question like, so you're feeling hurt by the situation, but you still enjoy working there, allows us to delve deeper and provide more support. If people gloss over important details, we can try asking, why not tell me more about that?
Wow.
Either approach helps us clarify things. Kind of sounds a little like a counseling session.
Well, it's really helpful, though. That's like a communication skill to have, whether you're intentionally practicing any of the 5 love languages or not. It's just super practical.
Right. Yeah. Okay, and the last one is respond. And that's to appropriately offer a response that acknowledges our spouse's perspective and needs. And it doesn't have to be verbal. The article I read on active listening actually encourages us to concentrate on nonverbal responses, nodding our heads, maintaining direct eye contact, and staying quiet while the other person talks. All those are cues that indicate our attention.
And a response is not necessarily providing the solution to your problem.
Yes, you don't need to fix it unless the person says, hey, help me fix this.
Help me out here.
Okay. Right. So like active listening is one practical way to speak quality time. I think I just like when we have those moments that there aren't distractions, like I'm not competing for your time.
A pit stop is a good example.
Right. And we've talked about that before, but maybe you should explain it because it sounds funny.
A pit stop is when, so I might be laying in bed. Ashley gets up a couple hours before I do, and she goes, works out, and she makes the most of her mornings. I lay in bed. So she gets back from working out or walking or whatever, and I'm in the midst of groggery and waking up. Groggery is like I'm feeling groggy. Anyway, she comes over and sticks her head in the crook of my armpit, her neck in the crook of my armpit, and we just chat. It's nice. It's a pit stop.
Yeah, and it's mostly uninterrupted. Unless Alexa decides she needs to talk all of a sudden.
Yeah, I can't say the word computer around her, or else she'll ask questions.
Right. It's really funny and annoying.
Yes.
But, okay, so, I mean, I think that's why I like when we go on cruises, too.
Yes.
Because there's more undistracted time. I mean, you normally have to work some.
I do.
But there's a lot of non-work time.
That's
and
a good
so
point.
I think other things that can be done to speak quality time or take a walk or go to dinner and sit across from each other and talk.
Or side by side.
Go back to a previous.
And I'll feed you.
Oh, no. Yeah. So, okay. That's a reference to a previous episode also. All right. Are we ready for number 3?
I am.
Okay. Receiving gifts. So this one's kind of self-explanatory, right? If your spouse's love language is receiving gifts, Dr. Chapman explains what makes them feel most loved is to receive a gift.
And this isn't about materialism.
Right.
So don't dismiss gift giving or receiving as, oh, you're so materialistic and shallow. That's not what it is. So you explain.
Yeah, well, an article I read over at the University of Arizona Global Campus had this to say about the love language of receiving gifts. And they said, experts suggest that the entire act of giving gifts, from the thought, the careful choosing of a tangible item to represent the relationship, and finally to the actual giving itself, elicits the feeling of affection toward another person.
Sure. I mean, I can think of some examples like with some of my friends. Their love language is not necessarily gifts, but you know, I recognize that they make beverages that might taste better with some like some smoky stuff on top, floating on top. This is very esoteric.
Yeah.
Right. Anyway, so I found some devices that kick out smoke on top of a drink, and I gave it to them. They were very appreciative. So there's an example of knowing what they might want. It's a little unusual, going on my way to get it for them, giving it to them, and then they were appreciative.
Yeah, that's a good example. A very good example. And I think sometimes, you know, if we're finding ourselves stuck on, you know, they like to receive gifts, but I don't know what to get my spouse.
Okay.
Then that's when you can go back to building love maps, which we talked about when we recommended the book 7 Principles to Making Marriage Work. Because when we build those love maps, we have a better understanding of what our spouse likes. And then when we are at the store or we're out and about, we're more likely to see something and it reminds us of them. And we're like, I think they would appreciate that. So I think that's a practical way to build that if that is a struggle. Because maybe you're married to someone whose love language is receiving gifts and you just don't even like to shop.
Right. That's kind of me.
So
I tend not to like to
except
shop.
for grocery shopping. You like grocery shopping.
I do. Because I get the weird stuff.
Right.
Multiple of the weird stuff.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're going to take another short break. And when we return, we'll talk about the last 2 love languages.
At Thrivent, planning your finances is bigger than money. It's a way to support the people, causes, and community you love. Because helping you put your faith into action is at the heart of what we do. Thrivent, where money means more. Connect with us at Thrivent.com.
In this episode, we are unpacking the 5 love languages. We've already discussed words of affirmation, quality time, and receiving gifts. So now we are on acts of service.
Okay.
And Dr. Chapman says that if your spouse's love language is acts of service, then actions speak louder than words when it comes to making them feel loved.
Okay. I'm thinking of doing dishes, making the bed, little everyday things, or are we talking big things like if I bought you a house?
I was thinking the small things,
okay.
Like the daily things, and I think you're very good at speaking this one. And even though this isn't my number one love language, I appreciate when you do acts of service. Okay. Like you make our bed every morning, as I already mentioned.
I do.
And if you don't make it, then I come in and I tease you and say, do you not love me as much today?
Right.
Or you like to go grocery shopping, which we just mentioned. So sometimes you'll do that because I don't enjoy it as much as you do.
And that's an act of service.
Right, exactly. Or one of our daughters, you take her to dance 2 times a week every week. You drop her off and pick her up. I only have to do it if there's something unexpected in the schedule. So yeah, those are just like very practical ways acts of service make us feel loved.
Right.
And so if that's someone's primary love language, just think how much more they feel loved.
Right. And it takes some effort to take the trash out, takes some effort to do dishes, and take some effort to do some yard work to help your spouse out. But yeah, if that's one of their primary love languages, just do it.
Right. Well, and one practical idea, this is something I sometimes do for you, even though this is not your number one love language either, is sometimes I'll take the trash out for you. You know?
I noticed that.
I mean, most of the time you do it.
Yeah.
But occasionally, instead of waking you up and being like, you forgot to take the trash out, I'm like, I'll just take it out.
Yeah.
You know,
I noticed that and I appreciate it.
Yeah. I mean, that doesn't happen very often.
It happened 2 weeks ago.
Okay. See, I don't even remember when it happened last. So, okay. That's kind of a short one because it's very
straightforward.
Yeah. All right. So the last one is physical touch. And in an interview with Focus on the Family, Dr. Chapman explains physical touch in this way. Many people think it's just the sexual part of marriage, but no. It really has that many no's.
5 no's.
In a marriage, it is such things as holding hands and kissing, embracing, and all that sort of thing. In other relationships, it might be a high five or a pat on the back. And you went through a season where this was like high on your list.
Yeah, it was. I think I was I don't know exactly why, but maybe I was feeling a little disconnected. And then just the physical touch was a reminder that I was not disconnected, that I was, that you were there, Huh? And I think it's good to remember, this is how the gifts one, some people might dismiss that as, it's materialism. It's not the best love language. I think this one may be similar. People are like, my primary love language is touch. You might dismiss them as, you're just whatever, but it's, I felt it. I felt built up by, and encouraged and loved, by touch.
Yeah.
Touch my arm, holding your hand.
Yeah.
Whatever.
And there's lots of practical ways.
Rubbing my feet when we're like on the couch watching a movie or something.
Yes, I have done that. But there has to be lotion because you like lotion
I
when
do
I rub your feet.
That's so nice.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think practical ways are holding hands, like you mentioned. Or when we watch TV at night, even if it's the whole family, we try to sit next to each other.
Yep.
Make sure our legs and feet are touching.
There you go.
And the other day you held my hand when we were watching it. That was sweet. Yes. So, all right. Well, to recap, different people with different personalities give and receive love in different ways. And the 5 love languages help us love our spouse better. So we're already to this week's Us Time Challenge.
Let's do it.
Okay. So this week, it's pick a practical way to speak your spouse's love language. And it doesn't have to be one of our suggestions. I'm sure you can think of things that are even more creative.
Sure. And specific to your relationship.
Exactly. And if you don't know your spouse's love language, as I mentioned earlier, there is a love languages quiz.
And you might as well just do that first.
Yeah.
Just do it, even if you think you know. It's kind of a fun thing to do.
Right. Well, and as you showed by we were talking about touch and words of affirmation, sometimes in different seasons it can change. Because I think we all kind of have this top one, and then we have another one that's kind of close. So, yeah. So practice it, find out what it is if you don't know what it is, or maybe take it again because maybe it's changed.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Good.
Well, thanks for joining us on the Team Us podcast. We're looking forward to next time as we keep talking about how grace, commitment, and cooperation can help couples live the everyday moments of marriage together.
Team Us with Ted and Ashley Slater is a production of Life Audio and Salem Media. If you liked what you heard today, please take a second to rate and review the podcast in your favorite podcast app so that more listeners like you can find the show. For more faith-filled, inspirational podcasts, visit us at lifeaudio.com.
Looking for ways to stay positive? Brighten your day with the Free Story Behind podcast. Hear weekly short stories that showcase true joy, love, and hope. Listen now at lifeaudio.com or by searching for Story Behind wherever you get your podcasts.